Hey guys, this is Chris with OmniDeck,
And it's Lauren.
and we're going to talk a little bit today about quality control, quality assurance, QAQC, and how that kind of plays into safety as well. But we've got a lot of clients that use OmniDeck in both of those capacities. So we're going to kind of walk through some examples and give you some things to kind of think about whenever you're implementing, because it's a great way of eliminating some safety apps that you're using or just forms apps in general, and then consolidating that inside of the portal. So if you're in the marketplace, we kind of break this down into two different things. Is that when quality issues happen, you generally need, there's two work processes that come out. The first of which is kind of this daily checklist or weekly checklist, something that you're doing regularly that's kind of top-down driven that you require the field guys to produce. And then from there, you're going to need obviously the pictures that go along with it. Some type of collaboration, bringing in the managers and the senior supervisors to at least see if and when some things happen. Now, an example of that, obviously, you can build, forms for just about any process. But I'll go ahead and pull up a form here, for example. This is what a general checklist could look like. If they're doing it on their phone, they're selecting the job, they're selecting, different yes, nos. We see clients, especially with like Spanish-speaking labor and English-speaking labor, having the translations done to kind of ease through the collection. But you can kind of see how a general checklist would flow. Obviously, you could add photos as well, and then gain signatures and kind of give maybe company policy along with it. So that's kind of an example of kind of the first piece of that, which is really creating these type of checklist scenarios. Now, the other part of it is the documentation of deficiencies. And we see that sometimes, embedded in like a daily report, from time to time.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're more standalone. The argument in putting it inside of the daily report is that they're already filling out the daily report for their time or maybe some other things. So while you have their captive attention, let them just put the deficiencies in too. But the other side of it is that if you pull it out of it and you let maybe a form be dedicated to that particular process, like in this example here, data reports, let's see here. This gives you kind of an example of being able to put this on a particular project and then put the area of deficiency, the date, or is it existing or whatever else. Just have simple form submissions that just track the transaction. The reason you would do that is that this doesn't have to wait on the daily report because it might be an emergency issue that needs to be dealt with. So it kind of needs to accelerate that workflow through, for example. It's also a nice way to kind of go and look at all deficiencies across job and kind of reporting on that particular form. So in regards to quality control type scenarios, these are kind of the two big ones to do. Our form engine is very easy to kind of build your checklist however you want. So the templates are kind of good starting points, but generally you're going to want to tailor that as well. And then the last piece of this, and this is something to kind of explore, it's more of something that you may want to talk about internally. But quality assurance, quality control also kind of has a play in safety. It has a play in subcontractor quality and qualification as well. And what we're starting to see, and in some cases recommend philosophically with our software, is the idea of a see something, say something policy. You may be already paying for the cell phones or reimbursing the cell phones that are out in the field. The idea is to use more of them. They already have this really nice camera attached to it. So why not encourage through kind of a reporting culture that if you see something, good or bad, whether it's an employee or a subcontractor, document it, right? Take a picture of it, talk to text to see what it is, and then rate, is this a quality issue? Is this a safety issue? Is it a positive or negative? Does it require corrective action? These are some question and answer elements that you can build in a form. That form can kind of multi-purpose, so it's their kind of go-to, just like a credit card receipt form, but it's their go-to documentation tool. And what you're end up left with is this really powerful matrix of observations where, let's say, for example, we're having a meeting about a subcontractor and we want to see every single time that subcontractor was mentioned on a particular project. Well, you could pull up literally all the positive and negative history of that particular subcontractor and see how many times they were positively reported or negatively reported. Same thing at an employee level. They're being praised for their commitment to safety or whatever else. So but with a tool like OmniDeck where you have people inside of the portal doing their daily job in all of the processes, while they're in there, you can also integrate these types of really culture changing scenarios like a see something, say something policy. And although it's in quality assurance, it could be literally in everything inside of the company. So that's a little bit about quality. It's kind of an overview video for all the processes in here, but we encourage you to keep checking the marketplace. We're constantly putting in new processes all throughout the different sections of the marketplace. So that's it for me. I'm Chris with OmniDeck.
I'm Lauren.
Thanks.